name is Rhonda, and I'm going to lead you through a 30-minute workout that's good for low back maintenance and pain management. The only equipment that you're going to need today is a mat or a towel or a soft surface that you can lie on. So if you have carpeting at home and you don't have a mat, that'll work just fine. I'm also going to use a water bottle because it's something that everybody usually has available. And you can also have a strap. So if you don't have a stretch strap at home, you can use a belt. We're going to use this for a couple different things today, so just a regular belt or a robe belt will work just fine. So to start out, I'm going to have you go ahead and lie down on your mat. And I'm going to have you lie with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. So we'll just start in this nice comfortable position here. And the first thing we're going to work on is just feeling your body heavy on the mat. We're going to go into some breathing, and I would like for you to use your hands on your belly so that you can feel your abdominals contract. So this is not just breathing just for the sake of breathing. We want to use that breath to encourage your transverse abdominals to contract and help start to build some strength there. So I'd like you to take a nice deep breath in. As you do, I'd like for you to inflate your belly as if it's a balloon. And then as you exhale, I want you to think about squeezing your belly button up and in towards your spine. So we inhale, inflate, and we exhale, contract. Inhale, inflate, exhale, contract. So poke into those abdominal muscles and see if you can feel them contracting. I'd like for you to imagine that you have a walnut between your belly button and your spine, and as you're exhaling, you're trying to squeeze that walnut. So inhale, inflate, and exhale, contract. Nice strong contraction there. Inhale one more time, and exhale, contract. Very nice. We're going to add to that a little bit of rib movement. So go ahead and take your hands down, place them on your ribs, and I'd like for you to inhale, and as you do, see if you can take your ribs really wide on your mat. And then exhale. I don't know if you can see that, but I brought my ribs down and together. So I'm going to try and squeeze that little arc between where the ribs go and make that a little smaller and bring the ribs down. So we inhale, inflate the ribs, and exhale, contract. Good. So can we combine those two together? So the next time you inhale, you're going to inflate the ribs and you're going to inflate your belly. And then you're going to exhale, bring the belly button up and in, and the ribs come down and together. Inhale one more time. And exhale, squeeze. So you should definitely feel the abdominals starting to wake up there. We're going to go a little bit further into some pelvic tilts. But rather than just mindlessly moving, I'd like for you to see if you can guide that movement from your belly. So the next inhale, we're going to inflate the belly and allow the pelvis to rock forward. And then as you exhale, we're going to pull that line of abdominals. And that's what's going to be what rocks your pelvis backward. So we inhale, inflate, and rock forward. And we exhale, contract to rock back. How about we do two more there? So you've gotten that ability to move from the belly, and that belly contraction is what's helping you to control the movement of the pelvis. So now I want you to find about halfway between those two. So we're not completely pressed back into the mat, and we're not really arched forward. So you're just going to have a little bit of space between your low back and the mat. Okay? Right from here, we're going to go into a little bit of movement, and I really want you to stay maintaining that nice solid belly contraction so that it supports your low back. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into some heel slides. So you're going to lift your left foot just enough off of the mat so that you can slide it out. I want you to pay attention to what happens with your hips here. Are you able to maintain that stability through the hips and just move the leg? So you slide your leg out long and you pull it back. And you slide your leg out long and pull it back. Very nice. Let's switch sides. So we press the leg out nice and long, try to maintain stability through here, and you pull back in. And you press out, and you pull back in. Very nice. Press out one more time, and pull back in. So now I'd like for you to make sure that your legs are perpendicular, your shins to the floor. We're going to go into some bridging here. So I'd like you to take your hands nice and long onto the mat. And let's go nice and slow. So you're going to inhale at the bottom. And then as you exhale, you're going to go into that pelvic tilt and squeeze, lifting one vertebrae at a time. All the way up here. Good. Inhale at the top. Exhale as you sink through the ribs. And you go down one vertebrae at a time, all the way to the bottom, where we find another inhale. Exhale, tuck the tail. Good. Inhale at the top. And exhale throughout the roll to come all the way down. Good. Let's do two more there. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. All the way down. Good. We've got our last one here. We're going to get really picky on this one. So your heels are trying to pull in towards your bottom. You're tucking your tail. You're really squeezing that abdomen to help you get into that pelvic tilt. We exhale all the way up. And right here, let's just stay right here. As long as you're not in pain, I want you to really be curious about your motion here and your stability. We need to think about lengthening through the front of the thighs and the hips. And we need to think about squeezing through the backside. We should have our neck nice and soft and relaxed. Chest should be open. Take a nice big inhale. And let's pulse that pelvis up towards the ceiling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Take another inhale. And exhale as you roll all the way down. So far there's two exercises, or that lead up to that bridging exercise, should have had you been able to get into your belly and wake it up a little bit. And now we've got the backside waking up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and continue on that contraction in the belly and the stabilization of the spine. We're going to go into a little bit of marching. And then from there, if you're ready, you can move from marching into dead bug. So let's get a nice big squeeze here and keep your hands long on the mat as you lift one leg up at a time up into tabletop. So right here is already some work for me because I'm having to hold my belly to keep my spine nice and stable. So let's see if we can go down and tap the mat with one leg and then bring back up. And tap the mat with the other leg and bring back up. Tap and bring back up. And tap and bring back up. So your progression from here, if this is too difficult, you can keep one foot down. You tap, lift, tap, lift, so that you have one foot touching at all times. Then your next progression would be tapping and lifting while the legs stay up. And then from here, we can go into dead bug. So the hands would reach up, and as the left foot goes down, the right hand goes overhead. And then they both come back to center. And then the opposite side goes, and back to center. Back to the left and right. And right and left. So if this is too difficult, go back to the hands on the mat and just go into your little marching here. Trust me, it's all work because we're really focusing on staying really solid to that core. Very nice. And remember to breathe. Very nice. So let's go ahead and bring both legs back down to the mat. Good. We're going to go ahead and give those legs a little bit of a rest and let them stay down for a little bit as we go into a little bit of a piriformis stretch. So the piriformis is a muscle deep into the glutes, and that's often an area where we need a little bit of help. So we're going to take the left ankle and cross it over the right knee. Hang out there for a second. That might be enough of a stretch for you just to get your leg there. If you're not able to keep your right knee bent this far, maybe this is too much of a stretch for you if you're really tight. You can take your right foot out a little bit further so it's not so intense. Okay? So for now, I'm going to bring my right leg back in. You can either use your hands, or this is the first opportunity that you have to use your stretch belt or your row belt. And you can take it behind your right leg and bring that right leg to you until you feel a good stretch through the outside of the left hip. And we want to breathe into that stretch.
So you want this to make sure you feel like it's a stretch, but you don't want it to feel painful. So if it's painful, back out of that stretch a little bit, or keep your foot all the way down to the floor. There it is. We're going to switch sides. So we're going to take the left foot back down. You're going to bring that stretch belt or the row belt to behind the knee. Right ankle crosses over the left knee, and you pull to where you feel a stretch. Good. You want your stretches to be held long enough that your body has a chance to recognize that it's a stretch and that it doesn't have to contract and work. So you want to be able to breathe into that so that it starts to lengthen through the muscle. And of course, always, always, always giving your body some nice air to work with. So we're going to go ahead and release that stretch again. We're going to uncross the legs. So since I already have my belt, I'm going to use a little bit of resistance from the belt to do a little bit of isometric contraction with my legs. So I'm going to take the belt around the backside of both legs. And you can either tie it or you can cinch it through the belt loop. I'm just going to tie it for now. So I want to be able to have my legs spread just about hip width apart. I'm going to maintain again neutral spine here and have a nice belly contraction. I'm going to press the belt open and relax. For 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7. Good. 8. Let's hold here on 8. We're pressing the hips open. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go back into some bridges here while pressing out against the belt. So we've got 2 actions going. We've got some abduction or abduction, taking the hips away from midline, and we're bridging. So take your hands nice and long on the mat. We're going to go for 4 bridges here. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale as you roll up, still pressing into that belt. Inhale at the top, and exhale to roll down. Good. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, roll up. This is our second one. And exhale, roll down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, roll up for 3. Good. Last one here. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, tuck the tail, squeeze the belly, pull up, roll all the way to the top. And let's just do 4 pulses up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Still engaging on that glute side and still lengthening through the front of the legs. And we're maintaining the pressure on the belt as we roll all the way down. Very nice. So now we can get rid of that belt. 4 more. But we're going to grab our water bottle. And we're going to place that water bottle, make sure your cap is on tight. Place that water bottle right between the knees. Knees and hips and ankles are all in alignment there. And we're going to squeeze that bottle and relax. Squeeze and relax. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Very nice. So now we're going to go back in this 4 more bridges while we're squeezing that bottom. So you're going to take your hands again, long on the mat, give yourself some support there. Take a nice big inhale, squeeze that bottom, and roll up as you exhale. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll on down. Good. Inhale here. Exhale up. Very nice. We've got 2 more. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale as you come up. Inhale here. And exhale down. All right, we're going for our 4th one. We know the 4th one we're going to get fancy on. So we're going to inhale here. Exhale to roll up. All right. Still thinking long through the front of the body. We're going to pulse up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, still maintaining that squeeze on the bottom. We're gonna roll all the way down. Very nice. You can take your water bottle and put it to the side. Let's bring our knees to our chest and get a nice big stretch here. You can rock side to side and kind of massage out that low back. So we're actually going to roll onto our side here. So let's roll to the left so that we're on our left-hand side. And you can use your arm as a pillow underneath your head. We're going to go into some clamshells. So we're doing some hip rotation here. So I want you to place your heels in line with your tailbone, and I want you to think about, again, stabilizing through the body. We're going to open the knee only and keep the heels pinned together. So I want you to watch how far back that you go, that you don't rock back into your back. Everything here stays nice and stacked, and we're just isolating the movement from the hip. For 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Very nice. So since we're on our left-hand side, we're going to go ahead right from here, from the clamshells, and go into some book openings. So I want you to bend your hip a little bit more, and let's bring your shins right across the front edge of your mat. And I want you to focus on keeping your knees in alignment here. Take your arms right out in front of you, and we're going to stack them. So if you see this, the reason why this is called book openings is you look like a book, and your spine is the spine of the book. So we're going to open that top hand, that right hand is going to open up towards the ceiling. You're going to follow that with your eyes and come all the way back as far as you can comfortably go. Of course, as always, we're working within pain-free range here. So if it hurts to go too far back, then don't go so far back. And then let's close that book. It may take 2 or 3 times for you to open and close, for you to feel like you're getting a good amount of range of motion. Now as we open that book, we want to make sure that the bottom half of the body stays where it's supposed to be, so we're stacked here. If this is uncomfortable for your hips, you can always have some kind of little pillow here, a rolled up towel or something so that you can keep your hips in alignment. And we're going to open that book one last time. Take a nice big breath. Your eyes again are following that back hand. And we feel that rotation all the way through the back. Let's go ahead and bring that book closed. Very nice. We can take the water bottle out, and we're going to flip over to the other side of the mat to do clamshells and book openers on the other side. So swing your legs around. And again, go ahead and lie with your right arm, giving your head a cushion. And we're going to keep the heels in line with the tail. We're going to make sure that we have the body doing some work here, so we're not just laying into the mat. So we maybe have a little bit of space here between our ribs and the mat. And right from there, we're going to open 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good, and open for 8. Very nice. Let's go ahead and close that clamshell. Bend the hips a little bit more. Bring those shins right to the front of your mat. And again, if you want, you can have your water bottle between your knees so that you have separation and that your knees stay in alignment with your hips. We're going to bring that right arm out, place the left arm on top, and we have the book opening from the other direction. So we open, 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 open. Follow that arm with your hands or with your eyes. Very nice. We rotate as we open, open, open. And then close. We've got one more here on this side. We're going to open, and again, like I said before, we're making sure that we're moving within pain-free range. So you watch where you are, and if you feel it going into a painful spot, just back off of that range of motion a little bit. Very nice. Let's go ahead and close that book. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to put that bottle to the side. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little looser and a little bit more in tune with your core. So I'm going to have you can either place your hand here, you can keep your head down, but we're going to do some hip abduction again, but with a long leg instead of a short leg. So less challenging is to have your bottom leg bent in front of you so that you've got a bigger base. More challenging is to go really long, legs are stacked. Again, you can place your hand on the mat if you need for some support so you don't rock forward and back, or you can bring your hand here, a little bit more challenge, you can bring it up. So we're gonna make sure that top leg stays nice and long. We're gonna flex that foot and we're gonna lift. 2, 3, really making sure that that belly is nice and tight. 5, 6, 7, really nice. 8 here, very nice. Good, we're gonna do the other side. So let's spin it around again. We're gonna get nice and long. Again, your progressions here, if having both legs out straight is too challenging, you can always bend that top leg to give you a little bit of support until you build the core strength to hold yourself up. I'm gonna go as long as I possibly can. I'm even gonna stretch out my bottom arm so that I'm super long like an arrow, give myself lots of challenge here. And I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that my feet are flexed, my hips are stacked. I'm gonna put my arm up this time. I'm gonna lift and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Very nice. So we're just going to go ahead right from here and roll right onto our tummies. We're going to go into some back extension. Most of what we've done has been abduction or flexion or forward folding. I want you to go into some extension work here. So I'm going to have you place your hands right at your shoulders. And get really long here. And I want you to press your pelvis down into the mat. Squeeze your tummy tight and relax. Press your pelvis down, squeeze your tummy tight, and relax. Those two movements need to accompany the rest of the movements. So we press the pelvis down, we scoop the belly nice and tight. As you're scooping the belly, I want you to think about your ribs reaching towards your hips, okay? So we're going to place those hands right underneath the shoulders, press the pelvis down, scoop the belly nice and tight, and press up just to the shoulder blades. So we're going to start small, and then lower back down. Now, if this is already hurting your back, you're going to skip the next section of swan and just keep your movements really small. Again, only when you're moving within pain-free range. So press the pelvis down, scoop the belly really tight, lift just to the shoulder blades, and lower back down. Good, legs are nice and long. They're active here, so we're reaching long to those legs. Press up, and come back down. Good. We inhale up. Let's hold here on this one and make sure that we get all those pieces and parts right where we want them. So the pelvis is pressed down, the belly is scooped out nice and tight. The ribs are reaching towards the hips. The shoulders are away from the ears, and I want you to lift a little extra through your sternum. Good, and then come back down. So we're going to go ahead and flatten those arms out, okay? So you see I moved mine a little bit further up so that my elbows are touching and my hands are nice and flat on the mat. Take a nice deep breath here if you need to. We're going to go into the next section. I want you to, same concept with all those pieces and parts. As the hips press in, the belly scoops out, and we're going to press a little further so that we lift up to the hips and go back down. Very nice. We're going to do a couple more like that, and I want these to go nice and slow so that they're controlled, and you're only lifting to the point where you are not in pain. Good. Notice that I'm not pinning my neck back. I want my neck to stay nice and long and in line with the rest of my spine. Press the pelvis down, make the belly nice and tight. Scoop up, lifting. Can you open your chest a tiny bit more? Can you squeeze your belly in a little bit more? And roll back down. We've got one more here. You're doing an awesome job. Take a nice big breath. Good, press the pelvis down, scoop the belly out, lift, reaching the shoulders to go open, the neck is nice and long. Very nice. So we're going to press right back from here into a child's pose to counter that extension. So we press out really long. This is one of my favorite stretches, it feels so good. Good, we're almost wrapped up here, but I want to do a little bit of work in quadruped. So we're going to come out, and our hands are going to be right underneath our shoulders, and our knees are right under our hips. I want you to find your tailbone, and I want you to tuck your tail, and tuck in, rolling nice and tall to the ceiling. Good, just see if you can find your belly button there. Untuck your tail and go the other way. Tuck your tail, squeeze, 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 squeeze your belly button's trying to reach through your back to the ceiling. Untuck and go the other way. Good. Last time we tuck, 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 tuck. Oh my goodness. And we untuck the other way. Allow your chest to sink towards the mat, even though the shoulders are pushed out nice and strong away from the mat. So now you're going to come into a neutral position. We're going to do a little bit of that deeper belly work. So I want you to lift your right knee off the mat with as little movement through the spine as possible. And then put that down and go to the left. And the right. And the left. And the right. Now as long as this is pain-free, if you want to progress to the next level, you'll tuck your toes back under and you'll lift both off the mat. Make sure that you're pulling your belly in. Now, that movement looks simple, but it's not easy. So I want you to make sure that you're not going into a painful position and that you're using the right muscles. So think about that low belly. You're going to pull the belly button into the spine and just lift off the mat a little bit and then come back down. Again, if that's too much for you right now, just go with the one leg lift. And then from the one leg lift, your progression can be to reach one leg out behind you and then pull it back. All the while making sure that you're not moving through your spine, and we've got nice stable movements there. So we pull the belly button up and in, we contract through the ribs, we press the leg out behind us, making sure we stay stable through the spine. Now, if you've had a recent back injury, maybe all three of those are a little too difficult. So just going through cat and cow can be where you start. So again, cat and cow, you're making sure that those are mindful motions. It's not just reaching your back up. You're pulling your belly up and in, and that's what's getting you up there. So go with where you are today and make sure that you're moving without pain. Let's press back one more time into a nice deep child's pose, and we're going to add a little bit of rotation here. I'm going to take your left arm underneath your right shoulder and see if you can get your left shoulder all the way down to the mat, or wherever it's pain-free. Good, we're going to take that arm back, extend it out on the mat, take the right arm under the left shoulder. Very nice. Bring those arms back out, stretch those arms out nice and wide. Come on up. Let's finish up with a little bit of side bend. So if you can sit on your feet, this is totally fine. If you want to add a little bit for the low body and the pelvis and the legs, you can side sit. And again, you've got ability here to make it tiny or make it nice and big, like a Z sit. So the Z sit is going to be the most challenging for that internal rotation on the hip. Again, if you want to stay here, that's totally fine with me. We're going to place the right hand. So we're sitting on the right hip, left legs are out to the left, your right hand goes down to the mat, your left hand comes straight out, and we're going to side bend over to the right. Again, just whatever is in pain-free range for you. Really nice. Good, let's bring that hand back down to the mat, and we're going to switch the legs over to the other side. Good. Left hand goes on the mat, right hand goes straight up, and give me a nice big side bend over. Good. And stack back up tall. Very nice. Good. Okay. Last one for the day. If you can take your legs out straight in front of you, right here might already be enough work for you because it takes a lot of core strength to be able to long sit and stay up tall. If this is too much, you can bend your knees in and give it a little bit of a rock back here so you can get out of that low pull. Good. Right here, we're going to roll forward and stack back up tall. And roll forward and stack back up tall. We're just moving in pain-free range.
and you've got the support of your legs here to help you. If you're long sitting, you're gonna reach over the legs and then stack back up nice and tall. We're trying to get as much flexion in the spine and then pull from the belly to come back up tall. Good, one more time. Good, again, either from long sitting or from your legs being bent, I'd like for you to place your hands behind you, and we're gonna go into a little bit of extension. So we're gonna lift the chest towards the ceiling and come back down. And lift up towards the ceiling and come back down. We've got one more here. Good, and come back down. Very nice. You did an amazing job. I want you to congratulate yourself. You start where you start. Everything that you do needs to be in pain-free range. So I don't believe in no pain, no gain, especially if you're dealing with a low back pain problem or a previous injury. Work with where you are and just move from there. I gave you some really good options today. I hope you try them, and I hope you find that you continue to improve as